Hello, and welcome back to another video. So today, I thought I would make a video going over some of these techniques. I looked on YouTube and I couldn't really find any tutorials that were encompassing most of the more advanced techniques in GTA driving, or some of the techniques that will really help you out. So I figured I would take the time, make a little bit of a video, and hopefully help you guys out with some of your driving and racing in general in the game. So again, this is going to be working on pretty much any kind of either vanilla GTA, RageMP, or FiveM. All these techniques work on all of them, since they all just work off the GTA physics engine itself. So hopefully you guys enjoy. So again, we're going to be going over the main 4 things in this video. Is going to be number 1, double clutching with rear-wheel drive cars. Number 2, double clutching with all-wheel drive cars. Number 3, we're going to be going over brake boosting, and then number 4, we're going to be going over curb boosting. These are in no particular order, but those are the 4 things we're going to be going over in this video. I decided to make this video because I have probably around 300 to 400 hours of just driving around GTA, just, listening to music, trying to figure out some laps, figure out some tracks, and have a good time. And I've learned a lot of stuff while I'm doing this, so I figured I'd share it because, again, I didn't see a tutorial that kind of had all 4 of these things in one video. I saw some tutorials for double clutching, I saw some for brake boosting and stuff like that, but I couldn't find a video that kind of showed all of them in one video and explained how to do them all in one video. So I figured I would take the time and make a video to show you guys how to do this. Hopefully this improves your guys' racing or driving in general in GTA, and let's get right into it, starting off with double clutching for rear-wheel drive cars. So let's get right into that. Alright, so we're going to be starting off, first of all, with the most simple technique, and again, this one is going to be only for rear-wheel drive cars. There is a way to do it with all-wheel drive cars, but we'll go into that in a little bit. So to start off, we're going to use the Banshee 900R just because this is the most obvious one with the most sound. We're actually going to turn up our sound, and if you are going to be using this, I recommend having your sound at a decent volume so you can hear the cars revving. So basically, how to explain this in the most simple way is you're going to want to go until you get out of first gear, and then once you're in second gear, and then you should be able to hear the change. When you're in second gear, when you're about to hit your rev limiter, which again, after a while, it's different with every car, but you'll eventually get used to the sound it makes. You're going to want to let off the gas for a second, so let off W if you're on keyboard, let off trigger if you're on controller. Tap your e-brake, which is spacebar on PC, and then I'm not exactly sure what it is on console. I'll put it on screen right now. And then once after that, you're going to want to again get back right on the gas immediately. Again, you're only going to get off the gas and tap the e-brake within this, like, as fast as you can, and get back on the gas. And then it should bang off the rev limiter, which you should be able to hear in just a second. And then it should give you a speed boost. So let me do that real quick. Let me demonstrate real quick. So we're going to first into second, and then once we get near that rev limiter, we're going to let off the gas and tap the e-brake, get back on the gas, and it gives us that speed boost. So let me do that again real quick. You can also hear because, one, it hits that rev limiter and makes a sound similar to this once you do it right, and it also will give you a speed boost, which should be pretty noticeable. It should boost your FOV back a little bit, as I'll show you. Let me do it one more time. So first, and then second to third, we're going to double clutch, and then how the FOV moves out even more. That's how you know you've done it, and you can also hear the rev limiter making that sound. Now right now, I'll put up a comparison of the times going from just like a standstill to the end of a line, double clutching, and then just going regularly. So when you're coming out of a turn, double clutching is also a really good technique to get traction back in rear-wheel drive cars. Just say we're going around like that, then we double clutch, and then boom, big speed boost. We can double clutch again actually, and keep going forward. So again, this technique is really useful for rear-wheel drive cars. Again, there is a way to do it all-wheel drive cars. We'll go into that next. But this technique is really useful when you're driving around, just double clutching, getting used to it. Again, every car has a different sound for when you're about to hit the shift. So you just got to learn it in every car. The Banshee 900R is very loud, so I recommend practicing it in this car. It also is really obvious because the tires squeak when you do it correct as well. I'll do it one more time for you guys. So again, go forward, and then when you're into second gear, when you're about to hit third, let off the gas, tap the e-brake, get back on the gas, and you sure hear that noise and the tires squeaking. Let me do it one last time. So again, you want to go forward until you get out of first gear, and you should be able to hear the shift, which again I'll show you right now. So you see the shift where it goes back down into from the high revs to the low revs, right there, shift, shift, And then once it's building back up, I'll actually show it in first person, so it's a little bit easier. If you look at the rev limiter in the middle of the screen, once it's about to hit the 7 or the 8 around there, where it would shift, that's when you're going to want to let it get off the gas, tap the e-brake, and get back on. So we do that one more time. So that's first, second, and then again. Then it should make that sound, and then you get a little speed boost. That should be pretty much it for double clutching. Now again, this can be used a variety of ways. I would just get into single player, get a car and mess around with it and get used to it. Again, it's different with every car, but once you do get used to it, it is really, really useful and gives you a really big advantage over other players. Okay, so next we're going to be going into all-wheel drive double clutching. So this is a similar technique, except it's just a little bit different. So let's go into that right now. Alright, so now we are in the LG, which is an all-wheel drive car. So it does still work in this. The technique is just a little bit different. So same exact with the rear-wheel drive car, the Banshee. When you're about to hit the rev limiter going from second gear to third gear, which again you should be able to hear getting out of first and then going into second. When you're about to hit that rev limiter, instead of letting off, tapping the e-brake, then letting back on the gas, you're going to want to let off, tap the e-brake and the regular brake. So on keyboard, that's S and space. And again, I'll put on screen what it is for controller because I do not use a controller, obviously. And then you should hear the same rev limiter bounce and get a small speed boost. It's not as much as a rear-wheel drive car, but it is noticeable. So let's do that real quick. Again, you're going to want to go when you're about to hit that rev limiter, let off the gas, tap the brake and the e-brake for all-wheel drive cars, and then tap the gas again, and then you should hear that rev limiter sound and get a small speed boost. So let's do that real quick. And I won't talk any at all when we're doing this, so you guys can hear exactly what's going on. So we're going to go forward. Again, when we're about to hit from the gear change from second to third, let off the gas, touch on the e-brake and the regular brake at the same time, let off, and then go right back on the gas. So let's do that real quick. So again, as you saw, we got a small speed boost. Again, it's not as much as a rear-wheel drive car, but it does help if you are racing. So let's do that one more time. Again, going from second to third before it goes into the gear shift, you're going to want to let off the gas, brake and e-brake, let off the e-brake and brake, and then back on the gas immediately. So let's do that one more time. And as you saw, as well with the Banshee, you do hear the rev limiter. Let me do that in first person so you can see the rev limiter as well. There it is. It's really useful, especially when you get used to it with whatever car you drive. So let's go again, second to third, double clutch it, and then we get a little speed boost. It's very useful for racing and very useful in general, especially when you when you lose traction and you need to get power back fast. Just double clutch, and then boom, you're back into the power immediately instead of having to wait for the power to build back up. So again, I recommend whatever car you do drive the most, just taking it out in single player, driving it around, getting used to where the double clutches are, getting used to the sound, getting used to doing it over and over again. Now again, with the all-wheel drive cars, what I've learned from doing a couple testing, you have a lot less of leeway in between where you actually hit the double clutch. Because with rear-wheel drive cars, you can do it in a pretty wide area, but with these ones, you kind of need to wait until the exact moment. Now again, it does take a little bit while to get used to, but once you do, it is really, really useful. So I do recommend going in the single player, practicing it a bit, and getting good at it. So that's pretty much it for double clutching, both rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. I'll go over it one more time. So again, to double clutch a rear-wheel drive car, right when you're about to hit the rev limiter going from second to third, you're going to want to let off the gas, tap the e-brake, get back on the gas. And then for all-wheel drive cars, when you're about to hit the rev limiter, you're going to get off the gas, tap the e-brake and the brake, and then let go, and then get back on the gas immediately, which I'll do again. There it is. And again, we get a little speed boost from that. That's going to be pretty much it. Again, not a lot of people know that you can double clutch with all-wheel drive cars, so it is a really useful thing. I definitely recommend getting used to it, learning it, and actually using it, because it is very useful to get away from people, as if you're racing kind of the same car as you, you'll have a big advantage over them. But I think that is going to be about it for double clutching. We went over again both rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive cars. So now we're going to go into the next session, so let's talk a little bit about curb boosting. Alright, so the next part we're going to be talking about is curb boosting. Now again, it's kind of hard to show this, so I'm going to try my best to show it off, but again, it's mostly the thought of it and kind of how it's used. So basically, GTA's physics engine, now again, I'm not a game designer, I'm not a physics major, I don't know anything about this, but in GTA, basically after you hit a curb or a change in elevation for a part of your car, and then it goes back onto the same elevation, for some reason you will get kind of a speed boost from this. Now again, this is just how Rockstar's engine works, so I'm not exactly sure why it's like this, but it is like this. Not a ton of people know about it. I know a decent amount of people who are into racing and such do. But let me try and show it off a little bit. So if you look on the bottom right where it says kilometers an hour, once we go over a curb, again, the way you're going to do it, let me do it in slow motion, or not slow motion, let me do it slow so you can get an idea of how to do it. So basically, when you're going along, if you just tap on the curb, get off the curb, tap on the curb, get off the curb, it will give you a little bit of a boost to your speed. So again, if you're just going along, you tap on the curb, get off the curb, and keep going. Tap on the curb, get off the curb, get going. Tap on, tap off, tap on, tap off. And each time you do that, it will boost your car's speed by a little bit. Now again, it's not super useful if you're just doing one or two, but if you're doing them in succession while you're being chased or something, or just doing it in succession, it will become very evident that it's a lot faster. So let me kind of show you guys a little bit right now. If you look in the bottom right, again, you can see the kilometers per hour, and whenever we go over a curb and get back on, you'll see it kind of bump up a little bit more than it's used to. So let's go forward right here and start going over some of these curbs. So bump, off, get a little boost. When we get to another one, bump off, a little boost, bump, oh, let's not crash here. Let me do that again, bump off, and then we bump off, little boost, bump off, a little boost, and you kind of keep doing that. Again, it doesn't have to be just curbs, it's just called curb boosting because that's what most people use it on. So let's try it again, keep going forward, hit the curb, get off, it gives us a little boost, hit the curb, oh, that was a bad one, get off, still gives us a little boost, hit the curb, get off, little boost, hit the curb, get off, a little boost, hit the curb, get off, little boost. Again, we hit that, so it didn't really give us one. There, a little boost again. We hit it, get off, another little boost. So over time, it really does add a lot of speed to when you're driving. Again, it's a little bit hard to demonstrate because I am looking at the kilometers as I'm driving. But basically, again, you just want to get off on the curb, or get on the curb, get off the curb, and it'll kind of give you a little bit of a boost to your speed. Again, you can kind of see it. Whenever I get off the curb, it just goes up very fast all of a sudden. That's pretty much how to do the curb boosting. Now again, it's not just on curbs. It's basically any little elevation change. If you go into a little elevation change and get off of it, it will give you a significant boost to your car's speed. Again, it's different in every car, but it is noticeable in pretty much any car if you do it a lot and you get used to it. Again, I'm not so sure how it works. It's just kind of how the game engine for GTA 5 does handle the curbs and everything. So again, get off, get on, get on, get off, get on, get off, and it just gives you a little boost each time. Okay, we messed up a little bit there, but it gives you a little bit boost each time you get off and on the curbs. You can do this if you're like running around and you're going between stuff. It's pretty normalized. Again, I'm trying to talk, look at the kilometers, and drive. So if I am crashing a little bit, that's why. But again, off on, stuff like that does give you quite the boost. Again, it's a little bit hard to demonstrate, but if you go in game and try it out for yourself, it is really noticeable. It's going to be pretty much for curb boosting. Again, it's not just curbs, it's pretty much any little elevation change you can use that will give your car quite a little speed boost. Again, it does take a little bit to get used to, and you have to do it in the right area. Like, this is probably not the area you're supposed to do it, since curbs are kind of a little whack. But basically, any change like this will give you a significant speed boost, especially if you do them in succession. Alright, so that's going to be pretty much it for curb boosting. Again, it's just going up onto a different elevation of your car on one side, and then getting back off of it. Like, just again, on, off, on, off, on, off, like that. Will give you multiple boosts in succession and make your car go quite a lot faster. Usually, the bigger the curb, the more boost it has, but it does change a little bit depending on kind of just how the physics engine wants to work that day for some reason. But again, if you do it quite a bit, especially with the bigger curbs, you will get used to it, and you will definitely notice quite a speed boost in your driving. So I definitely recommend using it, especially if chases and stuff like that, where the person chasing you, or in races where the person racing you does not know it. It is very, very useful, and will, especially if you're racing, over time give you a big advantage. So I think that's going to be about it for curb boosting. Next, we're going to move on to, I believe, our last part of this, which is brake boosting. So let's talk about a little bit about that, and then we will go into game, and I'll show you guys it once again. Alrighty. So again, next we're going to be talking about brake boosting. So in my opinion, this is one of the it gives you one of the biggest boosts, biggest speed boosts out of all of these different techniques, but again, it is one of the most risky ones and one of the hardest ones to get a hand of. You really have to get a feel for it, and also it's a little harder to do in single player, but on higher latency servers, if you have a bigger ping, it is a lot easier to do. I'm not really sure why that is that way, but it is that way it seems. So before we go into this, it's only working with all-wheel drive cars and rear-wheel drive cars. It will not work with front-wheel drive cars, just to get that out of the way. Another thing about this speed boost is that if you do mess it up, it will slow you down significantly. So also watch out for that if you're in a chase or something, or in a race. It is a risky move to do, but if you do pull it off, it will give you quite the big of a boost. So to do this in practice, what you do is as you're getting to the crest of a hill where you're not going to be, or it's not going to be big enough to get air, but it's going to be big enough to kind of have your car float on the top of it. Again, this is really more of a feel boost, and it's very hard to get right. But once you do, again, you'll notice it right away. So once you get to the top of a crest of a hill where it's not enough to have your car have a lot of air, but it will crest kind of float over the top of the hill, you're going to want to hold on to your brake without letting go of the gas. You want to keep hold of the gas as you hold your brake over this, and then once you get over that crest, let go of the brake, and of course still stay on the gas, and your car should kind of do a little burnout in the back, lay some rubber down, and it should give you a big boost. Alright, so to show off how this works a little bit better, I found this little kind of straight where there is a couple crests of a hill where again you don't get enough speed to go over the hill, but you get enough to be able to do this little boost. So again, when you get to the crest of a hill, hold down on brake while you're not without releasing the gas. And then once you get over that little crest, if you let go of the brake, you should get a little bit of a burnout mark and then a speed boost. If you look on the top right where it says miles per hour, whenever we do one of these boosts, you should be able to see it there, and you should also see some tire marks laid down below the rear tires. Let's go do it real quick. Again, this is kind of hard to show off, but hopefully this will show it off a little bit. So we should be able to do one at the top of this. So there we go, a little bit of a speed boost, and then we should be able to do it again about over here. Another big speed boost, another big speed boost, and another big speed boost. We almost hit 150, 152 actually in this one. Let's see it again. Another one there, and then we should be able to do, I think, one more. Nope, not one more. It's too much air on that one. But that is kind of one of the ways to show off how the speed boost works. Now again, this is kind of one that's hard to show off, so hopefully I'll show you guys a little bit. Let's do it one more time. Let's go back there, show you guys one more time how that works. This also works on bumps, by the way, so if there's like little bumps in the road, you can do this brake boost over them, and it does work as well. It's a little bit harder to show off, again, this one, so you guys really have to get into game, test this out a little bit for yourself, and eventually get the feel for it. It does take a little bit. Once you do, it is really useful. So let's do that one more time. Again, you just want to find a little bit of a bump where you don't get enough to get enough air, but you do get enough to kind of have your back tires float off. So there we go, a little bit of a boost. And if we come back here, we should be able to do another boost off of this one. There's a big boost, another boost, another boost, another boost, and we're getting real fast now. So that's basically how brake boosting works. Again, when you get to the crest of a hill or on a bump, if you hold down the brake while still holding onto the gas, it should basically burn out your rear tires a little bit and then give you a big boost of speed. And if you do mess it up, it will hurt your speed quite a bit. But that's basically how the boost works. Again, this one was probably the most difficult to explain, so sorry if I didn't do the best of job explaining it. But hopefully you guys understand, and if you guys do need any questions, again, I'll be happy to answer them in the comments section below, or if you want to join the Discord, ask me over there. I'll get back to you as fast as I can. But I believe that is about it for this video. Again, hopefully this video did help you guys a little bit if you guys are into racing or into driving in GTA in general. I tried to explain everything the best I can. The brake boosting is a little bit hard to explain, but hopefully you guys understood it a little bit. But I do think that is going to be about it for this video. Now, if this video did help you in any way, please leave a like. And if you want to see more stuff like this and more stuff of GTA content in general, please subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.